Welcome to Spotlight Rewind, where we rewind and replay some of the Athlete Spotlight features that have aired on Sports Central. On this episode, we have 3 athletes to highlight. We'll shine our spotlight on Makayla Groth. Makayla was a standout performer at Auburndale High School in the typically male-dominated sport of wrestling. She also has a girls' state title to her credit. And we're going to shine our spotlight on 2 students who may not have been the star of their team, but they definitely shine brightly as leaders on their team. Rachel Frederick, a local talent from Lake Gibson High School, is now attending Weber International University, where she competes in cross country and track. She also touches the lives of a lot of young people in the area. We'll share with you her story. And Garry Rodriquez, he had an outstanding senior year at Auburndale High School, both in the classroom and on the links. We'll update you on where Garry is now. So join us as we rewind and replay and update you on where these athletes are now. Spotlight Rewind starts right now. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Spotlight Rewind. I'm Mike Moore. Thanks so much for tuning us in. This is a show where we really rewind and replay some of the Athlete Spotlight features that have aired on Sports Central. Now, on this show, we're going to be talking with Makayla Groth. Makayla is a wrestler. That's right. You could tell just by looking at her. But for some of you, that may be surprising, but others that know about sport, there are more and more girls in the sport of wrestling. We're going to find out about that and where Makayla is. She is in college now. We're going to find out about all of that. But first, let's get started, as we always do, by rewinding and replaying our Athlete Spotlight feature on Makayla Groth.
People will be like, "Oh, you're a female wrestler for Auburndale?" I'm like, I've been varsity 106 for 3 years.
Somewhere between who I am and who I'm called to be.
She's a wrestler. She's not a girl wrestler in our room.
They wrestle 10 times harder against me than they do against a fellow guy.
No boy wants to lose to a girl.
Sometimes I feel like they're in a hard situation. Like, if you beat a girl, then you're mean because you're beating up on a girl. Or if you lose to a girl, then you're soft because you just lost to a girl.
The guys have adapted to it. We have a senior loaded team. We have like 11 or 13 seniors, and she's one of them. So they've known each other for a while, and they work well together.
Well, we're just one big family. Like, I don't look at them as like anything other than my brothers, and they all look after me. If anyone messes with me, then I always have my boys to back me up. I like to try everything. I've tried like tennis, soccer, softball, cheerleading, everything. And then 8th grade year came around and it's like, "Mom, I want to wrestle, I want to try this." And she's like, "Okay, we'll see." She thought I was going to quit, like go out there and get my butt beat. Actually, I ended up beating everyone and I fell in love with it.
She's done well every year, but her junior year, specifically, she went, I want to say 24-11 on varsity against boys. That's good.
My first match was against a girl, ironically. That didn't last long. I pinned her in like 10 seconds, first match. And then I wrestled a guy, and I got up at one point. His mom was really mean. She was like yelling at him, saying if he lost to me that he would get in trouble and stuff. And then like cowboyed him, stuck him. And then she, like when I got up, she was like shaking her head. She started crying, and I was like, "Oh." And then he started crying because he knew he was gonna be in trouble by his mom. My mom was super happy though. I used to have really pretty dirty blonde long hair to my hips, so I ended up having to cut it where it's like shorter than my eyebrows, shorter than my ears, and I was like, you know what, I'm doing it for my sport, I love it, cutting it all off. I think this proved that I'm serious about my sport, because you don't cut all your hair off if you're not serious about it. I won Girls State 2014. 106 pounds. That was probably one of the proudest moments I've had in wrestling. I think my mom came over and she was like, she told me how proud she is of me, and she told me I'm her hero, and no matter if I lose or win or anything. And
2,
I love my mom. She's proud of me, and I'm more proud of her than she could ever know. That made me cry again. My mom is an inspiration to me. She took care of us. She was a single mom, 2 kids, you know. She had multiple jobs. She got us as much as she could. Maybe that's why I'm so dedicated to my future, is because I know what I came from and I know what I had. But at this point, it's about my education. It's about my future. So wrestling is my gateway to my future. So when I get there, I'm gonna focus more on my education than my wrestling. The wrestling will be what is getting me my education. There was this girl wrestler there that went to Missouri Valley named Clarissa Chun, and she ended up being a bronze medalist in the Olympics. And I was like, I want to be like her. So maybe 8 years from now, in the 2020 Olympic trials, whatever, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna kick butt and I'm gonna be a medalist in the Olympics. And I will work my butt off to do that. Hi, I'm Makayla Groth, and I'm a female wrestler on an all-boys varsity team.
Well, Makayla, I look at you now and your hair has grown a little bit since we did that. Great to have you here. Makayla Groth, she is with Emmanuel
Christian College.
Tell us where that is.
It's in Franklin Springs, Georgia. It's like up in the top little corner of Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost in South Carolina, way up there.
Now, something that's interesting is on the collegiate level, these are not, unlike when you were here at Auburndale where you were the only girl with all the guys, this is an all-women's team, isn't it?
It's different.
Yeah? How is that different?
It's just being around girls 24/7. You know, I'm just so used to, guys are guys, and then they're not as strong, so I feel like it's just different.
You know, it's interesting because the year you won your state championship at 106, the girls' state championship, you were wrestling over there in Orlando. A lot of those girls are competing in teams with just girls. Yeah. And I know you and your mother both told me you felt like you had an advantage when you were training and practicing with the guys.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely stronger just because I've been wrestling with stronger people at practice. Definitely had an advantage.
So unfortunately, your senior year, you went back to try to win a second state title, and it didn't work out for you. You lost in the finals again to someone here from the Polk County area. Again, someone who's wrestling with other guys too. So that might tell you how important that is. But now you're at the collegiate level, and you were telling me again you haven't had a chance to do a lot of wrestling because you hurt yourself.
Yeah, I grade 2 sprained my ankle and fractured my 5th metatarsal. So I was in a boot for like a month and a half, and they almost medical red-shirted me just because I couldn't do anything. I couldn't run, wrestle. I survived in the pool. I did a lot of pool workouts.
But now we would think, wow, it must have been a tough match where you got hurt, but that's not where it was it?
I fell in the dorm showers.
Oh no.
Well, we can tell everyone it was a wrestling match.
Yeah, okay, that's right. You were in the middle of a match, but so that's got to be so frustrating.
Oh yeah, it kind of broke my heart for a little bit because I wrestled 1 tournament, and then my entire first semester I had to sit out and watch all my teammates wrestle and compete. So it was hard, definitely hard.
Now, by the time this airs, you may be wrestling again, but the time frame, because I look at you, you're walking, and you told me you ran a couple of miles today. So you obviously are recuperating and getting close to getting back to wrestling. How far away are you? Do you know?
Actually, I have a tournament January 17th when I go back to school.
Okay.
So I only have a few more tournaments until nationals in February.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Now, I always feel funny when I talk to a girl or a woman about her weight, but you obviously are in weight classes, so maybe I feel like it's okay. You were wrestling 106 your junior year at Auburndale, 113. The weight classes are different in college. And where are you now?
I wrestled my first tournament 116, and then I got bumped up to 123. So big weight difference now, but.
And that's not because it's not that you gained that weight. You just
I put on a lot of muscle actually. Okay. Yeah, we did a lot of preseason working out, and I went to the gym a lot over the summer. So probably put on a few pounds of muscle, and finally not having to cut weight anymore.
Yeah, not having to cut weight, that's probably a good thing, isn't it?
Oh, so nice. It's so nice.
That's the one thing that of all, if any wrestlers had to cut weight, they hate that the most.
Oh yeah, you love wrestling until like your 3rd day of cutting weight, and then you're like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah. You know, wrestling is a very demanding sport. I mean, a lot of people they're not familiar with it. They may even be surprised that there are girls wrestling, but there's a lot more girls out there.
Oh, there's almost 30 colleges now that have female wrestling.
Wow.
It's growing. It went from like 20 a year ago to 30 now, and they're just opening up everywhere. My school is a brand new program, and we're recruiting right now, like all over the nation for girls.
Yeah, and in fact, even at Auburndale, it was kind of hard to understand it for sure. But your junior year, you actually had another girl on your team.
My
right?
best friend, Shamara. We call her Woo.
Called her Woo.
Yeah, she might be coming to my college to wrestle with me also.
Oh, that would be very nice, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah. Dream come true.
Kind of you really enjoyed that camaraderie, because I have to admit, when you're the only girl on an all-guys team, you're going to stand out. And they're either going to look at you funny, or why are you here? Or in your case,
I was one of them.
You were one but you were so good. They didn't look at you as like some novelty. You were good.
Well, they kind of had to deal with me since I was beating up on them. They had no choice but to accept me.
I like that. That's a good way. And I have to tell you, the first time I met you, I went there to do a story at Auburndale on Colton Rouse. She was the wrestling heavyweight. And I went there and I saw you before practice, and the coach was wrapping your hand. You had run and tripped and fell on the track or something, and you had one of those horrible burns on your hand. And then he wrapped it up and you left. And I just thought, you were just from the school or on the track team or something. And somehow the coach he looks at me and says, she's a really good wrestler. And I'm thinking, who's he talking about? And he goes, no, she, there's no, Makayla, the girl that was here earlier. I said, she's a wrestler? He says, yeah, she's not wrestling now because your hand. And then he told me, yeah, she won a state championship last year as a junior. And I was like, okay, we're coming back and doing another story. And but it's funny. I didn't go there knowing anything about you, but it's funny how even in your story, people asked you about it. You said, I've been a varsity wrestler here for 3 years.
Yeah, and people still ask me like, you wrestle? I'm like, I've kind of placed at nationals a few times, so yeah, I wrestle.
What is it about wrestling? Because this is not a girly sport. This is that you love so much.
So demanding. We're a different kind of breed of person. Like, it's just so demanding. Like waking up at 6 a.m., going to practice for 3 hours, and then coming back at like 3 and 3 more hours on the mat, and then schoolwork on top of that. College is not easy.
Yeah, you having some fun with some of the college classes? Do you like to write? That's what you have to do a lot of that in college.
A lot of papers. A lot of papers.
I think the professors just make you write everything. That's just what they do.
I feel like they want to see us suffer. I think that's what it is.
Oh, is that what it is? It has nothing about preparing you for the future, but it's it's kind of like in wrestling practice. The coaches sometimes like to make you suffer because they know if you suffer during the practice
to do better.
The matches are not as difficult, are they?
Yeah, I definitely have to stay in shape. Learned that the hard way. I went back to practice after I broke my foot, and it was fun. I went to one of the men's practices, so yeah, I was super out of shape. Like,
it's amazing how quickly when you're in that shape every day of wrestling and practicing, if you don't do that for a while, there's a different kind of shape there, and you gotta get it back.
It's crazy. Like, we call it wrestler shape because I've ran an entire season of track and then tried to go back to wrestling, and it's like I took a whole 3 months off, and we have football players come in our room and quit in like the first practice because they can't handle it, and it's different.
It's a different thing. Let me ask you, I was looking at your hair. When I saw you in the store, you had really long hair and you cut it all off, but you told me now you're going to actually let it all grow back because you can do that.
All the way, because we don't have to wear hair nets and there's no regulations on it, so I'm just let it grow back to its normal length.
When you look back at Auburndale, obviously those days are gone, but what do you think you miss the most?
I think I miss my team because we were so close. Like, we all started at Premier Wrestling Club in 8th grade, and Gilbert was coaching that, and then he was our coach all the way through high school. So we were all so close. We'd go to his house, and he had a gym at his house, so we'd work out. And it's just in college, it's kind of like in more independent, like, I'm an adult, I do me, and that's all that matters now. So I miss the close-knit team.
Well, hopefully you will find that and have that at the collegiate level as well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Makayla, thank you so much. As her PA announcer at school calls her, Makayla Groth. but it's Groth. She said all those years your PA announcer never got it right, so I don't know why. It's not that difficult. Makayla, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And good luck with the healing, and I look forward to seeing your hair grow longer and the tournaments, the victory after victory. That'd be great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with more after this. Stay with us. That's my daughter.
In this journey, we all have a role. Every life counts on you knowing yours.
Hi again, and welcome back to Spotlight Rewind. I'm Mike Moore. Thanks for joining us on this edition. We appreciate you being here. I also want to say thank you to Makayla Groth, who is recovering well. Her foot is doing very well, and she looks forward to getting back on the mat. And also her hair continuing to grow. It's going to take a little while, but she says she's just going to let it grow and back down to her waist. So we certainly wish her the very best with her wrestling career. All right, we're going to change directions a little bit. In fact, coming up in the second half of the show, I'm going to show you two more spotlights. One of them happened to be a schoolmate from Auburndale High School with Makayla. His name is Garry Rodriquez. He was a golfer. He also was tops in his class and ran for class president. We'll find out more about him in just a second. But before we do that, let's go to someone's story that I did early in the year who's actually in college. Her name is Rachel Frederick. Now, Rachel is from the local area. She went to Lake Gibson High School where she was in cross country and track. But she decided to go to college locally. She went to Weber University. But Rachel's story is much more than just her abilities on athletics, or even in the classroom. She excels really in both areas. But Rachel recently received an award, a character award. And as you're going to discover in this story, this character came from hard times in her family, having to persevere through some very personal and difficult struggles with both her mother and her father. So let's do what we always do. Let's rewind and replay the Athlete Spotlight feature on Rachel Frederick.
To run because it's all on you. It's like you pushing your body to what you can do. It doesn't involve really any technique, knowing how to like shoot a basketball or serve a volleyball. It's all what you can accomplish. I do high jump here. I haven't ran the 4x4, but I now run like the mile, and only at conference do I steeplechase. Whenever I'm feeling defeated, I always think of the people who are unable to run. Why should I give up when there's someone probably wanting to run and they're unable to? So that's what keeps me driven. We had a few family accidents my senior year that really just changed my perspective. My mom was on a camping trip and we had an accident where she almost bled to death, and she was in the hospital for in and out of the hospital for about a month, and then the next month we found out that my dad had a brain tumor. So he was actually at Moffitt Cancer Center, and that's where he got treated. It's kind of what sparked up my love for Moffitt and wanting to work there, but he's doing a lot better.
Champions of Character Award, demonstrating the 5 core values of Champions of Character.
I like to volunteer at the elementary school that's right next to our school. I'm in the program Big Brothers Big Sisters.
She's just a good person, giving back to the community.
I go and see her every week for an hour, and I help her with reading, school, really anything that she may need.
She demonstrates every single one of those as far as giving back, work ethic.
I also did tutoring at a church, and I helped a little boy about 2.5 hours every Wednesday with his math and reading.
Team is first and she's second.
I also was an intern at Moffitt Cancer Center this summer, so I got to go to many events like Miles for Moffitt, which was a running race, and we had about 6,500 participants this year. I just like seeing others succeed, like helping them, like seeing the little girl that I mentor getting better grades and doing better in school is worth giving up my time to see her. I chose Weber because I don't like the big schools. I'm not good with big crowds. And it was just really personal. I like to be able to talk to my teachers and them know my names. I really love school. I love to learn, so I like to push myself. I don't like to get B's. I prefer higher A's.
She's just as good in the classroom as she is out on the course, you know, as far as academics. Giving back, she's got like a 3.7, 3.8 GPA.
My mom's played a big role in my life. She's literally been there for me for everything. She was constantly going out of her way to be at all of my events and take me to different sport practices. If I wanted to do dance, she'd do that.
You know, with the 5:30 a.m. practices, you only get a few people that can wake up at 5:30 a.m. every day and be very consistent.
I don't mind waking up early. I like it better than the afternoon practices because then you get the run in and then you're done. Running has definitely made me more disciplined, having to wake up early, doing practices. Even when I'm not feeling like doing mile repeats or not motivated, I just have to keep working at it. It's taught me to stay disciplined and stay motivated. Hi, I'm Rachel Frederick, and I run cross country at Weber International University.
And of course, Rachel, very modest, very even shy, you could say, but very humble, really. And she has a lot to be proud of. And her coach just sang her praises. And of course, this Champions of Character Award from Dr. Leroy Walker, certainly very well deserved. And as you can see, that was just the tip of the iceberg of all that she does for the kids in her community and people there in her neighborhoods and where the school is down there in, near Babson Park at Weber International University. So she does a great job, again, both in the classroom, also on the orange groves, on the track, and of course in cross country. And you have to give it to them. They get up very early. And again, in case you missed it, they get up for practice just about every day. They get to practice at 5:30 in the morning. And that's when it's absolutely dark. In fact, they often have to wear reflective vests so people can see them if they're driving around the campus, because it's like running in the middle of the night. And I remember back when I was in college, and getting up for an 8 o'clock class was like getting up so early. And these students, and Rachel, they get up for practice every single day at 5:30. Coach Simpson, he gives them a lot of credit for their determination to do that when they don't have to. So you can imagine bedtime for them, they don't stay up real late at night during the week. But it's also cooler in the morning. In fact, Rachel told me that sometimes they go out to the orange grove and they practice there at 5:30 in the morning. It's pitch black, and as you can see, sometimes when they're running, they get separated from their teammates. So you're by yourself out there in the dark. There's no street lights, and you can hear some strange noises in the orange groves. She says sometimes it's a little unnerving, maybe a little extra motivation to don't stop now, keep moving, keep moving. I have a feeling that Rachel's going to continue to keep moving. Good news, of course, as you saw, her father is completely recovered from the tumor. Her mother is also doing very well from her accident, a hunting accident. But it's interesting how what would have considered devastating news has actually motivated Rachel to now not only give back to her parents, but to use that as a motivating factor to give back to others. That's why she wants to go work at Moffitt. She likes the work they do. She's been there and experienced it firsthand with her family. Now she wants to help others. That's certainly a Champion of Character Award winner in my book. So we certainly will keep our tabs on Rachel Frederick. All right, we're going to change directions and kind of go back to the high school level and go back to Auburndale High School. Makayla Groth was from Auburndale, and so is our final spotlight for this program, Garry Rodriquez. Now, Garry has a different story. He's not a wrestler. He was on the golf team. Not a very big guy. In fact, as you're going to discover, when he first joined the golf team, his coach is going to say, well, he struggled. But Garry was very determined. Gary's very smart. We'll learn that Garry also was at the top of his class and going to almost be elected as the president of the class. So for Garry, it was mind over matter. And he just decided to put his mind to learning the sport of golf. Wow, that's a tough sport. And do the best he can. And his senior year actually was his best year, of course, both on and off the link. So let's do what we always do. Let's rewind and let's replay our Athlete Spotlight feature on Garry Rodriquez.
All right, so relax, have fun. Let's do a good job out there.
It's a tough sport, but you stick with it, and it's definitely beneficial and fulfilling.
So when he first came up, honestly, he could really barely hit it out of his shadow. And that's another thing that I love about him is he's come out here and gotten a little bit better each year. Good. Sit right there. Sit.
You stick with it. You pick up tips from other golfers, from teammates, and little by little you get better. And progress, is gradual, but it does exist. This season as a whole was probably my best that I've put in almost 4 years. This year I did go to regionals as part of the Auburndale team, and that was a really great experience. The camaraderie was great. Got to interact with the team members more so than in the past. This may sound odd, but I really do enjoy the aspect of frustration that you can go out one day and be amazing in the next, and it's as if you've never played before. That level of anticipation that you always have to be ready to, kind of take it as it comes. I am the senior class president for Auburndale High School. I was elected last year, and I'm president this year, and it's been good.
He actually plays the violin in the symphony, so and from what I understand, he's fairly accomplished at that. I think at our next banquet we're going to have him either play or record some music for us while we're eating.
I think I'm somewhere, I think I'm third in my class at the moment. I try, I take grades seriously, education is very important. I've, maintained a 4.0 GPA my entire high school career, so that's all right, I guess. I would consider Bill Cosby a role model, a great man. I definitely have to say my parents. They're very supportive, very encouraging. They want me to do my best, and they provide me with all the resources necessary. I am Garry Rodriquez, and I'm a member of the Auburndale Senior High School golf team.
Garry Rodriquez, he actually, again, he plays the violin. I don't know if he actually played the violin for the golf team's annual banquet. Coach Smith will have to check with him on that. But Garry now is attending Embry-Riddle Aeronautics University, where he's studying engineering and aeronautical engineering. I told you he's a smart guy. And that's, in case you don't know where that is, that's over in Daytona Beach. In fact, their campus is right beside Daytona International Speedway, with nothing more than an airstrip between them. So I imagine Garry has good seats when the Daytona 500 or the 4th of July races and all the other things that they do over there. It's interesting, Garry, not a big guy, but he puts his mind to things, and I like why he says he liked the challenge of golf. A lot of people say it's very frustrating, but for him, he enjoyed the challenge. And so I have a feeling in whatever Garry does with his aeronautical degree, he's going to succeed and do very well with that, because why? He's going to put his mind to it, and it's going to do well. Also, I always like to think, I told Coach Smith, Coach, I've seen a lot of golfing coaches. You don't look like the typical golfing coach. He actually looks more like the football coach, but he's the golf coach there at Auburndale High School. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Spotlight Rewind. Certainly appreciate you joining us, and certainly thank our guests, Makayla Groth and Garry Rodriquez, two students that used to go to Auburndale High School, and also Rachel Frederick, a local girl who's now still in college here locally at Weber International University. Spotlight Rewind is committed to bringing you the stories of our students that are not just great athletes, but they're great people as well. They excel in the classroom, and they give back to others. And there's so many of them that we really can't tell all their stories, so it's always a great opportunity to share with you some of these great stories in our Athlete Spotlight. Well, again, as always, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time for another edition of Spotlight Rewind. You're watching PGTV. Join the conversation.